Our next recipient was a coach at Lewis Central for 16 years. He retired in 1994. You can find his name in the South Dakota Hall of Fame, the Iowa Hall of Fame, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and I'm sure many of us have stories about Coach Bleth. So we can, think of those. We can tell those later at the end of the night. So yeah, make sure you're ready for that. But I've asked Coach Bleth to say a few words tonight, and he's going to receive this Lifetime Contribution Award and also say a few words. Coach Bleth.
I'm very appreciative of this award. I certainly don't deserve it. There's a lot of other people that have done all this work, and I want to make sure you can hear me. Can you hear? Okay. I told Doug that I was going to talk a little bit about where we came from, not just Lewis Central, but wrestling. And I hope you'll give me the indulge with whatever I want to say. You know what I mean. I started in wrestling in 1961. It wasn't the Stone Age. It was the Stoned Age. And I was very proud of the first day. I'll go back a little bit. My high school football, basketball, and track coach, government teacher, and superintendent. I was kind of a small school. He heard I was going to college, and he called me into his office, and I figured I was in trouble again, but he said, "Hey, I hear you're going to school. I think you should look into wrestling." And I said, "Oh, Coach, those guys jumping off the third ring up ropes and down on me, I'm only 125 pounds. They'll crush me." Well, after a few minutes, he picked himself off the floor from laughing so hard. He said, "Well, college wrestling isn't like that. And I really do think you'll like it. So you get a chance, look into it." And one day I was roaming around campus trying to find my way back to the dorm. I was stalling because I didn't know if I got back to the dorm I'd have to study. And saw this notice saying, "Anybody interested in wrestling, show up at room so-and-so on such and such a date, such and such a time." And I thought about it, well, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll go see what it's like. And I went in that room. There was 14 guys, obviously older, and there was five of us that were newbies. And that was the wrestling team. And they were so glad to see me come in that room. I was never greeted so warmly in all my young life. And the next day we went over and got gear to practice in, and we went to where we were going to have practice the next day, and I knew why they were happy to see me. I started wrestling on a mat that was 5 inches thick, full of horsehair, rolled up, and at the bottom of the steps, and we had to take it up 38 steps. And they were happy that I was there to help them. We had to use an old classroom. The year before, the main building had burned down, so we're using this old classroom in the Industrial Arts building. And we pushed the chairs aside, and we put the mat down, we put a cover over it. And once a week, at the end of the week, we would scrub it real good, have it ready for the next week. And then at the end of practice, we would roll things up and carry them down the steps. I found out after the first day I didn't want to be in the front of that mat and in front of that road going downhill. And I think we all had a jockey or wrestle for a position. And the coach was a football coach. He was a big guy. He had played for the Minnesota Vikings. He didn't know a lot about wrestling. They gave him the job because he needed extra money. He was a family man and he needed some extra money. So they gave him the job of wrestling coach. And the first day of practice, we were out there loosening. We were loosening up. We had Norm as the captain of the team. He was the oldest guy. And they kind of went around the room and asked, what was your career of wrestling? what had you done? They came to me and I said, well, I'm undefeated in high school. I never wrestled, but I tried a little bit of wrestling, but even West River girls, cowgirls, they're tougher than I was. So I wasn't very successful there either. But we started trying to wrestle, and the coach would say, okay, Norm, you show us how you do your takedown. And Norm got out there. Norm got us positioned, told us how to get our legs positioned, get our arms out. And that was Norm's position for takedown. I thought, well, that can't be too hard. I think I can handle that. Then the next kid showed us how to use a tight waist. Grab a tight waist, pull it, grab the arm bar, hold it in there, put a head lever in, get a chance. You feel the guy giving up a little bit, get a chance, put the half Nelson in and turn him over. Just real easy. Yeah, I think I can handle that. And then got paired up with a kid named Lanny Mowery. I love the kid. He didn't like me much. But we worked out for about a half an hour. And the coach said, okay, time to take a rest. I said, okay. I mean, you guys always got that rest, right? I said, okay, we laid down. We rested for about 5 minutes. I looked around and I said, boy, I really love this. This is great. And that's the way I felt about it for all of my life from that day on. This was a great sport. Well, how did that work out for me? I was not the varsity, of course, even though I was undefeated. We had 6 matches scheduled, and we were after the 5th match. The coach came in the room and said, hey guys, we got a chance to wrestle another college that's 100 miles away. We got to go up there and then they'll come back. If we go up there, they'll come back down here. You want to do it? And everybody said yes. And we got down there. Oh, by the way, Bleth, we've got an exhibition match for you. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll take it. So now on my resume, I can say that I'm an exhibitionist. We got in 2 cars. We got 2 of those long station wagons, if you remember, the grocery getters. And the coach and 5 guys, well, actually 6 guys, 5 wrestlers, and coach, and the other Lanny was going to get to be an exhibitionist too. He got in the one car, and they put him way in the back. And I thought, well, I guess that's where I'm going. And then the guy, the guy that was teaching everything how to do takedowns, he got to drive the other car, and the other 4 biggest wrestlers were in the car, and they put me in the car. And I didn't last long. I was in the back, and it was cold back there in the middle of South Dakota winter, going into North Dakota. It got colder as I went, but I got a chance to wrestle, and given the uniform. I got up there, we was given the uniform, and I found out what it's like to be into old age. I think I had to go to the bathroom about 6 times before I wasn't too nervous. I was real nervous. And it's just like I do now. Going to the bathroom wasn't an easy chore back then. You have your jock strap. It's a little different today. You say, pull up your jock strap and get out there and go after them. Today you got to say, pull up your Spanx and go get them. It doesn't really have the same identity. But then you put on your tights, and then you put on a onesie, and you had to button it in front, and then you put on over tights, a little pair of shorts. And we were maroon, with a yellow streak and maroon, and yellow lettering on our jersey. And you go to the bathroom a lot of times. That's the trouble. You really got to work to get down there. And I finally got the chance. Got to go out in a wrestling match. And here I was. I got my stance and I circled, and the guy kind of followed me. I thought, what's going on? I thought I had him dizzy. I really did. I went a little while, and I really thought I had him dizzy. And the takedown we had was the old Dwayne Kilgard double-leg football tackle. Take him down and get after it. Well, we tried that. I just thought, well, I'm ready for him now. I'm going to make my shot. I made my shot, and within seconds, I knew I was going to be a standout wrestler. Because he snapped me down, put my head in the mat, blood splattered all over, and he was right behind me, and I lost the takedown. But I did go out and stand. I was out standing by the first aid box, cleaning up my blood and stuffing cotton in my nose. And I'm saying to myself, gee, that was kind of unusual. I didn't expect that. I never saw that in practice. But I went back out. Oh, by the way, the first aid box was also the spit box. So, you know, things have lived. Good thing Dave is here. He's cleaned things up a little bit. But anyway, that match, I was down, and I made my first move, put my head up, and he was a little bit too high, and I hit him in the face, and he backed off, and I got my escape. Oh, this can't be too tough. Got into the second period, and I chose up, and he did a switch on me. I was practicing a switch. I knew what a switch was, and he wasn't supposed to do it as hard as he did it a lot harder than Lanny did ever did to me in practice. And again, I was down on my face, and I've got my arm back around him yet, and everybody, my teammates are hollering, re-switch, re-switch, re-switch. And I'm saying, what the hell are you talking about? I've never heard of that before. Well, he switched me. Now the score is 2-1. And then the third period comes along, and he's on top, and he gets that tight waist and arm bar in, and he's pulling it and tugging it. And 8 minutes and 45 seconds later, his arm gets tired, and I slip out, and I get another escape. And he's ahead of me at the end of the match. The score is 6-2. Now, he's only scored 4 points, but he's got 6 on the scoreboard. A little bit of riding, a thing called riding time. And so that was the end of the match. I didn't lose that match. I was just behind when time ran out. And that's the way I approached all the rest of my matches. And most of the time, I was behind when time ran out. We got a chance to wrestle at school again. And this time the varsity wrestler was the exhibitionist, and the guy that I wrestled was on the varsity. I thought, well, I don't know if this is going to work out so well. But we were going along, and it was a pretty close match. There were no takedowns. I learned how to not get snapped down again. And I learned to re-switch, so I was able to follow the guy around in the second period. And in the third period, I'm down, and the guy's got a tight waist and a head lever on me, and I'm really tight. I'm working the hands, and I'm burying my head in the mat, and I can't get anything going, and I look up at the coach, saying, like, what am I going to do? And he hollers out, put in a half. I'm saying, I'm so bad that the coach is hollering for the other guy. I got a lot to learn. And I did everything I could to learn. I wanted to come back the next year and show the coach that I could, that I had improved. Unfortunately, but it's a good fortune for me, he didn't coach again, and we got a pretty decent coach by the name of Don Woods. You've never heard of him, but he was a very good coach for me, and he would allow me to do things on the mat that he would not allow anybody else to do. And from that great experience that he allowed me to have, I decided that after I was through with college, I would continue to coach. And because of him, I'm continuing coaching. There's a lot of other things I'd like to say, but you don't have all night. And one thing, I've met some great people, some outstanding people. I see some of you here, you're so much better looking now than you were in high school. It's amazing. I can't believe how good looking you guys got. And your girlfriends and your wives and whatever, they're good looking too. I never saw that when you were in high school. Anyway, there's a little tradition at the National Coaches Conference that they do to honor those that have passed. And I'd like to kind of maybe start that or explore that here tonight. I want to mention some people. I'd like to have you have your beverage in hand, whether it be water or your adult beverage or your child beverage or whatever it is. Please get a glass and have it in hand. And I will mention some names, and then I'm going to ask you to, my wife says, I don't say church. I want to ask you to say salute. And first of all, the first people I want to mention, I got a small fraternity. Those people that have had the good fortune of sitting on the edge of the blue and white mat and cheering for you. And of the coaches, and while I'm doing this, I know I'm going to forget somebody, but if there is, I'm going to give you a chance to tell us, and we will salute them too. And I'll mention some names, and you take your glasses and salute. First of all, there's Frank DeBlasi, Dick Tannehill, and Wes Jensen. Salute. And you say it. There's Louis Massey and Ed Klotz. Salute. John Bevensey and Jeff Coyle and Bruce Probst. Salute. Do you have anybody that I've missed? You know somebody that has passed that I've missed? I'm sure there is. Think about it. If you know, give me a call.
Bill Newsom.
Right?
Bill Newsom.
Bill Newsom. Salute. Anybody else?
Rich Emsick.
Well, he didn't wrestle Blue Central, but
He coached.
Rich
He
Emsick.
coached.
Salute.
Salute.
At the National Coaches Conference, where I was honored, they have a ringing of the bell. And it's a tradition in wrestling. I didn't know this, but it's a tradition in wrestling that the bell, and they do this all day, just for all of those that have passed, that have their hearts in wrestling, we ring the bell, and I'll see if I can do it 10 times. Salute, all of you. Thank you very much.